Well, it should be Focus Africa, so apologies for that. But guess what? We're going to bring you a significant development from Sierra Leone. It's about a new law that is banning child marriage and has been signed with much celebration and jubilation. Now, this law aims to promote young girls from being forced into marriage before the age of 18. And let's dive into the details, shall we? So President Julius Maada has signed the Prohibition of Child Marriage Act into the law in Sierra Leone. Now, this landmark legislation mandates a minimum 15-year jail term or a fine of around $4,000 for anyone involved in the marriage of a girl under 18. Now, the First Lady, Fatima, organized a grand ceremony to mark this historic event.
Now, the new law bans child marriage in Sierra Leone with strict penalties. University student Khadija Tubari, whose sister was married off at 14, expressed her support for the law, though she wished it had come sooner to protect her sibling and others. Sierra Leone's patriarchal society often forces young girls into marriage, a practice that has led to high maternal death rates. Now, to discuss this further, we are joined by via video chat Fodie Kamara. He is the People's Alliance for Reproductive Health Advocacy. He is with the People's Alliance for Reproductive Health Advocacy. Thank you very much, Mr. Kamara, for joining us.
Thank you for hosting me.
You're welcome. Thank you for coming on. And we appreciate you for doing this with us. I mean, it's best to get started and talk about this law and go in and just talk about the challenge that was faced at first in passing the law, but more importantly, the impact that do you foresee this law having on communities, especially in rural areas where child marriage is more prevalent?
Thank you. First of all, I want to thank President Bill and his wife for actually championing this cause, because it's a cause that we've been on for the past 2 decades or so. And we have related legislations that have something to do with actually preventing or prohibiting child marriage. But we've not had much impact as, we foreseen after the passage of this particular Prohibition of Child Marriage Act. When you look at the Child Rights Act, the age of consent is 15. You look at the Sexual Offences Act of 2012 and the Amendment Act of 2019. This also has age of consent as 18. You have the Registration of Customary Marriage and Divorce Act also, it points to the age of consent at 18. You have the Basic and Senior Secondary School Education Act of 2023. All these acts actually point at the age of consent at 18. But we've been having a lot of challenges. When you look at like the Muslims, we have this Islamic Marriage Act, which actually opens up and gives the Muslims, the Islamic people, the consent or the mandate to marry up to 4 or so, wives. And the age of consent for their marriage is actually unlimited. And we've had a lot of challenges with these people. And with our traditional leaders, when you look at our economic status in Sierra Leone, there is a lot of challenge with money coming in, funding the girl child education in Sierra Leone. As a result, because of our patriotic situation, boys are actually, given the opportunity over girls, for basic education in Sierra Leone. So this is a laudable milestone that the government has actually undertaken.
Mr. Kamara, it makes me wonder about, young girls that were forced into this long before this bill was passed, right? And it forces me to ask a question about, support systems. What are some support systems that are in place for girls who resisted child marriage or even flee from it before this ban was implemented?
Okay, when you look at the Sexual Offences Act of 2019, it actually gives the mandate to the ministries of gender, children's affairs, to provide some support. We already have a secretariat, the National Secretariat for prevention of teenage pregnancy or adolescent pregnancy and child marriage. And initially it was National Secretariat for the Prevention of Teenage Pregnancy. But now we have a particular strategy that was developed, and this strategy is a national strategy for prevention of adolescent pregnancy and child marriage. And there are a lot of support systems really put in place, especially like for girls who get pregnant out and drop out of school and they want to go back to school. They have centers around the country that the Teenage Pregnancy Secretariat actually established since 2016 or so. And, just after the Ebola. We also have a special court, that the president announced its establishment for trials of sexual assault cases. So there are a lot of support systems, but it all depends on the authorities. The laws can be made, but how are they implemented is actually our challenge. So implementation of these laws is actually our challenge. We have the referral system, we have the hotline 116 or so, and we have a particular structures that are set up in certain hospitals wherein sexual assault cases are reported.
Okay, so Mr. Kamara, I imagine that this is the problem that spans the entire length of Sierra Leone, and there must be a case for people who live in perhaps maybe villages or hard to reach places. What efforts are being put in terms of communicating this new law to these people, reorienting them, since this might be part of their cultures, especially religious? And of course, let's also put in their enforcement of the new law.
Okay, the new law actually is new, it's currently new. But the previous laws that I've just mentioned, the Sexual Offences Act, the Customary Marriage and Divorce Act, the Child Rights Act, and the other acts and some of the policies, the strategies like the male involvement strategy to prevent for prevention of sexual and gender-based violence, and the national strategy for reduction of teenager adolescent pregnancy and child marriage have been actually cascaded, countrywide. So this is a new law. What is going to happen now is we have ministerial committees on this, and we have the civil society, we have other institutions that are working around the country to ensure that they develop user-friendly versions of this particular law and cascade it countrywide.
Well, I must say many thanks, Mr. Kamara, for doing this with us. We appreciate you for coming on. We also want to celebrate with Sierra Leone for this new law, which represents hope and a significant step towards protecting the rights of young girls in Sierra Leone. Many thanks again, Mr. Kamara, for joining us.
And thank you. And one thing, we have a law that is coming, a bill that is up, that is presently with the Ministry of Health and Sanitation. That is the Safe Mother and Reproductive Health Bill. And this bill, we are sure that once the Prohibition of Child Marriage Act is passed, this bill is passed, definitely we want to ensure that this other bill is passed because they are highly related. Thank you.
Thank you
very
so
much,
much.
Mr.
Thank
Kamara.
you.